I'm the Podfather. He is Alex Dunlap. We are Content Kings. And woo, it's been a while, Alex. We have a lot to talk about. We're talking about Romeo Dobbs to the Patriots. We're talking about what do you do with the 103 and superflex. And there's a bunch of behind the scenes topics to get into from player profiler, roster watch perspective, going to the combine, going to conferences, the content creator's guide, lessons we've learned, all those things. That's what Content Kings is all about. I put a message out to everyone in this audience, said, hey, if you have a startup, especially a startup, but also take over an orphan, I'm trying to add I'm one of the rare people that's trying to actually add dynasty teams because I want to be in scenarios, real life scenarios, as many real life scenarios that I can talk about as possible. For example, the 103. First, the Coliseum. That was the first Dynasty League that I was invited to. Podfather at rotowonderworld.com. If you want to invite me to your Dynasty League or have a startup coming up, I will entertain joining. I might be your Huckleberry there. And I was like, I bet they give me the 103. I was like, the 103 is such an orphan pick to have. Like, because if you have the 101 or 102, you don't really want to give that team up. But you might have a good team, but you get the 103. It's not exciting. I can absolutely see dumping an orphan team with the 103 on the Podfather. But I was like, would they really do that to me? Would they? That'd be so disrespectful. But then it happened. I opened up the league on Sleeper. The Coliseum is what it's called. And then sure enough, I went to the draft order, and there I am at the 103. How do you feel about the 103 this year? I mean, is it as bad as you've ever seen it?
Oh, I'm trying to think of the history of 103s. It's definitely tough this year, right? You have Jeremiah Love, and then you have Fernando Mendoza, and then it's like after that, you throw your hands up and you say, I think it's all going to be so landing spot dependent with these players, because as of right now, we just look and you see, okay, if I'm going to go wide receiver there, you can make it's like there are 4 wide receivers who you could argue are going to be that you could argue pre NFL draft or wide receiver 1. There are it's you choose the order of Makai Lemon, Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, Casey Concepcion, right? And then with the running backs, who is running back to? Are you a Mike Washington person? Are you a Jadarian Price person? There was a lot of love for Emmett Johnson before the combine, and he's the one guy that came and actually did everything. Speaking of the combine, like the one guy that came and does everything, does what you're supposed to do. And now he's just getting completely knocked because of his testing at the combine. And really, the 3-cone would have been bad anyway, right? It's like, but you just look at it and you're like, man, it's just like it really stinks for this guy and Emmett Johnson, who had what was his an 18% reception share his final year at Nebraska. And he comes in, he runs a 4.56, and a 4.56, of course, it's not great. We don't love that, but it only seems so bad. What?
It's not bad.
Yeah, right. It's not disqualifying, but it only seems so bad is because now at the combine, what happens, and this is part of a larger discussion that maybe we could have about content creation of the combine or how much the combine's even worth now, is that these guys only run if they know that they're super fast. They only run if they know that they're going to test really well. And otherwise they say, I'm not going to test. And so you can go to the combine and you can basically, this year, you could have just said, guys who are going to run sub 4.5 are going to run at the combine. And guys who aren't going to run under 4.5 just aren't going to run at the combine. And that's how it went down. Jeremiah Love, 4.36. Mike Washington, 4.33. Jadarian Price, 4.49. Adam Randall even ran a 4.5 at 232 pounds. He knew he was going to be super fast, size adjusted. Claiborne runs a 4.37. Jam Miller, 4.42. Seth McGowan, 4.49. Eli Heidenreich from Navy runs a 4.44. The only guys who ran above a 4.5 were Emmett Johnson, who probably hurt himself by running, And then the kid from UTSA, Robert Henry Jr., who's going to come and do everything anyway because he's from UTSA. Like, so how much do we really learn from that? I know we're talking about the 103, but I'm curious from you as somebody that has a website where you want to look and like know the agility score or whatever. What's the agility score called? The one that takes in the 3-cone and stuff and the
That
short
is the
shuttle?
agility score.
Okay. So like you want to know this stuff, right?
Right. The
NFL
agility
teams
score
want
is
to know
the
this
the,
stuff.
the 20-yard shuttle and the agility score combined so that they're both equally weighted into one metric.
What do you think of my idea? Say if you're going to come to the combine, you got to do everything, or you got to do at least most of the things that you're medically cleared to do, and maybe we pay you like $100K for your time.
How long do you think the combine is going to keep going?
Well, I think to some degree, it's gonna have to keep going just because of the medicals and the interviews. You know, it's like these teams, they pool together their resources and they do it in Indy. You know, they've had done it in Indy in the past because you've been there, but it's like right in the middle of this huge medical district, right, where they can get all the MRI machines down there to Lucas Oil super easy, and they have this little dungeon area there where they can take all the players. And if it's like something where it's not an MRI and they need some other crazy machine that I don't even know what its use is or whatever, they have it right there. And then the doctors there can do it. Your team doctors can come in, but they also have doctors that just give the information that's available to all the teams. It's a very efficient process for them to be able to get all that medical information in one spot. But as far as the actual running and stuff like that with these players, they're coming, dude, they're coming now from situations in college where these players are, and I've noticed this in just interacting with them at places like the Senior Bowl or the Shrine Game or the Pro Days and stuff. They've kind of been paid professionals their whole time in college now. And so you go up to one of these guys now and you ask them for like an ID. You say, hey, this is Mason Taylor, and you're listening to Roster Watch. They kind of, some of them now kind of look at you like they're expecting kind of to get some money for that. Whereas in the past, this is just like their first foray into being a professional. Does that make any sense? It seems to me now it's like, hey, man, I'm going to the combine. I'm doing all this stuff. It's like my agent's telling me I shouldn't run. Like, like they have their mind. It isn't like they're so bright eyed and bushy tailed coming into this thing where I'm out to prove my worth to the NFL. The agents are telling me, no. Your worth has already been established by the NFL. This is all icing on the cake. This is for fans and stuff like that. Don't go run that 40. I've been doing this for 20 years. I can tell you. You're being timed at a 4.53 right now. It's not going to help you. It can only hurt you. So don't do it. And they're used to making these decisions based on dollars and cents. These agents tell them in college, like, hey, man, I really like my coach. I love my teammates. I like the culture here at Tennessee. And he's like, no, but listen, I've been talking to Virginia Tech, and they need an edge rusher. And we can get you a raise of $800K. And they've just kind of grown up doing this. So I don't know what to do besides pay them, if we're going to want them to all participate and have the combine be the same way that we used to have it. Because things are going to change with the combine. It's probably not going to be in Indy for too much longer. And the agents are going to look and say, look, man, they're moving this thing every year. Los Angeles just paid $40 million to be the host of the combine this year. They're making money hand over fist, dude. Like, you're not going to go and do this for free. That's the way it's going. And I hope it continues. And because I like to be there and talk to the players, and I would like it if they all tested. But
well, that is the solution. Just pay them to go to the combine. If it's a big event, the combine's a big sports event. Like, it's bigger than any basketball game or hockey game or anything. There's big ratings with the combine. It's a featured thing on NFL Network. So yeah, it makes sense if you're participating and you are the content that you would have some kind of compensation, and then as part of that compensation, you participate in all the drills for your particular position. I think that is the solution.
I can't believe they haven't been getting paid all along now that we've talked it over.
Right? I mean, doesn't it make sense that they would get paid?
It makes perfect sense to me. Yeah, for sure. So I think that's what needs to happen. So anyway, as far as the 103, it's here. Let's say that Jadarian Price goes to Seattle now that Ken Walker is gone, right? And Zach Charbonnet has a late season ACL, and Jadarian Price looks like a guy that profiles is like I think he kind of looks like Ken Walker with the way he runs and his running style, right? I think if he were to go there, just one of these guys lands in a super plumb landing spot. I think that's how it becomes your 103, right? Unless you're unless you're the but can it even be the 103 this year as a running back? Because if you prescribe to the theory that you and I have prescribed to for Dynasty for so long, it's like it cuts both ways, right? It's like, no. This is the worst year to have the running back be in that spot because it's a weak running back class. And we need to do what we always do. And we take the stud wide receivers early. And then through round 2, 3, 4, that's when we get our running backs, right?
There's a stud receiver?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think the top of this receiving group is killer. I think they're good. Yeah.
Okay, so who has the most upside? It's not Carnell Tate because he actually ran. Why did Carnell Tate run? Especially if you're from Ohio State, everyone's going to your pro day. Why would he run if he knew he wasn't going to run sub 4.4?
I don't know his exact line of thinking. I don't. I know that, and it's so funny what people are saying now as well. Some of the scouts had his time at a 4.48 or 4.49. It's just like, well, okay.
Well, yeah, exactly. If you run a 4.53 at the combine, a hand-timed equivalent is 4.48. And it makes perfect sense. It's fine. But like you said, if you're going to be at the Ohio State Pro Day and then you can control the environment, why would you go to the combine and run? Like, I'm very impressed that he did that. It makes me think that he is super competitive. It reminds me of Jamar Chase. He didn't have to do all those drills. Jamar Chase did the agility drills. He didn't have to do that at all, but he was so competitive and he was so driven. He was working out like crazy in Texas with his friends, and he wanted to go and participate in all the drills just from a pride standpoint, which I think is really a major indicator. It's not like, I'm going to not draft a guy because he didn't test at the combine. He made a business decision. A lot of guys are making business decisions. You don't draft based on that. But does it nudge a guy up because he decided to? Does it nudge Carnell Tate up? For me, it does. It's unfortunate he's not faster, but he's super young. He was productive. On Player Profiler, we have him as the wide receiver 1. Do you have him as the wide receiver 1 at Roster Watch?
I currently do, but it's been a real struggle for me. But the thing with Carnell Tate, because first of all, the thing with Carnell Tate is nobody was, at least he didn't defy expectation, or at least he didn't let down what people were expecting for him. You expected him to run around a 4.5 because that's his game. It definitely has a slight lack of vertical deep speed, right? Even though he made a bunch of long touchdown catches, his average touchdown catch last year was 32.5 yards. So it's not like he wasn't making big explosive plays, but you can see on tape that he's not just stacking guys all day long. It's just for him, it's just always just really good positioning, always just the play strength, coming back to fight for overthrown balls. It's just like awesome tracking ability that reminds you more of like a DeAndre Hopkins type. And that's the type of I would love to, if we're talking a young DeAndre Hopkins type of player in the right kind of system, you're talking about that's fantasy gold, right? And
he's smaller too. He's all the receivers are smaller now. He's basically a smaller version of DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah. Well, Carnell, So he measured in at 6. Okay, so all right, so yeah, he's shorter than we thought. We thought he was 6'3". He's more like 6'2 and a quarter, right? But big hands, 10 and 1/8 inch hands. 192. I mean, that sounds fine to me.
He's going to be 200 eventually in the league.
Yeah. So with him, I it's just whenever we say the upside's not there because he didn't run sub 4.45 or something like that, I say to myself, well, that was never the eventual upside you envisioned for Carnell Tate anyway. I've been having trouble squaring it with Makai Lemon, who I think is just an absolute dynamo. I don't know what you guys have on him. If he's not wide receiver 1, I think he needs to be wide receiver 2 in this class.
Spoiler alert, he is wide receiver 2. This is my decision point. At the 103, I'm going either Carnell Tate or Makai Lemon. That's what I'm going to be doing. You can't go down to these running backs. My God, man. You can't go with a running back not named Jeremiah Love. You absolutely cannot do it. Like you said, our process is in Superflex, you're targeting quarterback or wide receiver in round 1. If you can get the best wide receiver in the class, that's usually a good thing. And this isn't a bad wide receiver class. And 40 time is the least predictive for wide receivers. It's the least predictive. It's even more predictive for quarterbacks because if a quarterback has a great 40 time, you know he's a Konami code. You know he has incredible sort of dual purpose upside. A wide receiver runs fast. Who cares? Brashad Perriman? Do you know the list of athletic receivers I can give you that would make you want to throw up in your mouth?
Yeah, no, like I was telling Cody at the combine, it's like almost it's almost like if you run in the 4.2s, you're almost destined to be bad.
Yeah, I mean, aren't you disappointed with what Xavier Worthy has delivered in the NFL?
He's been a bust.
Are you happy with Xavier Worthy's NFL production?
It's too early to say that he's an NFL bust, but if he continues in his current progression, he will be considered a bust.
He's almost there. I mean, you have individual draft classes where you have multiple guys that were super athletic in the first round and all busted. Brashad Perriman and Kevin White. Remember that?
Yeah, well, I could have told you about Kevin White, but yeah. That guy's got that's the value of the combine. You get to talk to these guys. I mean, I was just like, man, this Kevin White. Like, I walked away from his podium. I'm like, I'm out. Wait. What did Kevin White say to you? This is why we do this show. What did Kevin White say to you at the combine that got you like, I'm out? Oh, it was something where I asked him some question about, because I was a little bit I was probably a tilting question. I just asked him what went into the decision not to go to the Senior Bowl, you know, and he's like talk to my agent and just sloughed it off. I was like, all right, this guy.
That was it. I thought maybe you asked him an X and O's question, and he was like, and he got it wrong. So, just to wrap up our sort of high level combine existential question, is the combine's not going anywhere. There's too much money involved.
It actually might be going somewhere. It might be moving out of Indianapolis after 2027. Because
it is going somewhere in it. The combine is going on the road, just like the draft went on the road. They're going to have the combine go on the road because it is a lucrative thing. It's great for the NFL. It's an important piece of the NFL schedule. The NFL has set up their schedule so that every month there is an event. Now, there happens to also be free agency happening now, so there's multiple things happening this month. But you have Super Bowl, combine, free agency, draft. I mean, it just goes right at mini camp,
and then rookie mini camps, and then voluntary
it's always
OTAs,
something.
Mandatory OTAs, and then the only slowdown is the month whenever coaches worry about guys getting arrested for those 3 weeks in July.
Yeah, so the combine will be here. Athleticism scores will be here on Player Profiler for now and well into the future. There's not going anywhere, and Player Profiler is the most trusted source of this stuff. Places come and go, putting up, athleticism numbers, but we have been the most consistent, and we are the trusted source for that. We have the most data in our data analysis going back through time. If you wanted to look at Kevin White's 40 time, you can do that on Player Profiler. You can look at the entire draft class that year and see everyone sort by 40 time. Player Profiler, the premium tools are amazing. And so there's no concern that players will stop testing. There's always going to be players going to their pro day, and then we'll get the testing numbers there. We're going to get the testing numbers one way or another unless the player is injured, like a Corey Davis situation. But what could happen in the years ahead, because there's a lot of money at stake, is that the NFL may start incentivizing these players in different ways to test more at the combine. I think we are at a low point in terms of how many players are testing and in what drills. And I think that's going up in the future. And the reason is there's a lot of money at stake. So I think more players will be testing at the combine. The NFL will find creative ways to incentivize them. I am 98% certain that is going to happen.
As many guys tested in the three cone at the NFL Combine. I just thought of this. As many guys tested in the three cone at the NFL Combine as cones in the actual drill.
Yeah, the three cone. They love to do their three cone at their pro day, and that's fine. We'll get the data one way or another. It's but just the important thing is wide receiver. The athleticism matters the least for wide receiver, and that's why no one should ever not draft Carnell Tate because he wasn't fast enough. That's not something that you need to worry. However, there are situations where a player who wasn't super productive can build a career at the NFL level as a deep threat, like Alec Pierce. Okay. Alec Pierce runs a 4.6. Okay. Alec Pierce runs a 4.6. Alec Pierce doesn't have a career. Okay. But if Alec Pierce runs a sub 4.40, he can then go to the league and put the time in and show up early and stay at the facility late and build rapport with his quarterback and eventually become the featured wide receiver for an NFL team, which is now what he is with Michael Pittman now in Pittsburgh. And I posted this on Patreon, patreon.com/podfather. My favorite free agent signings, they weren't just skill position players. Like I love the Zion Johnson signing. I think that matters. I think that matters for all the offensive players on that team. I think it was one of my favorite signings, and I think it does have fantasy ramifications. But a signing that I really liked was, you know, what we're talking about here. I mean,
hold on. You're saying that you really like the Alec Pierce signing or the Zion?
No, what? No, not the signing the wide receiver signing that I like the best is not clear. I think the running back signing that I like the best, like for example, I loved the Pacheco signing. Okay. Pacheco is now like the best handcuff there is.
I don't think that's true.
You don't think so?
It's not the best handcuff there is. The best handcuff there
is a pretty damn good handcuff. Now I'm not going to get in all again. Patreon.com/podfather. You can see all my favorite free agent signings there. I also did hate some signings. I hated Romeo Doubs. I liked the trade of Michael Pittman and the retention of Alec Pierce for one player specifically. Can you guess who it is?
Yeah, I mean, it's Tyler Warren, right?
Tyler Warren's one for sure. What about Ashton Doolin?
Oh, Matt, you can't give up on this guy.
I'm not going to give up on him. Ashton Doolin is signed through 2026. Ashton Doolin officially is competing with a tight end, a field stretcher, and a possession receiver. So there isn't an X on the roster without Michael Pittman, and Ashton Doolin has size, he has athleticism, he has ball tracking capabilities, and he has been a complete warrior and a company man in Indianapolis for many years, and this just might be the opportunity that he needed. And so whenever we're talking about free agency, it's not necessarily about who went where when. Sometimes it's about who went where and what does that mean for the players down on the depth chart or across the formation from that particular player.
I think it's more likely than him being anywhere fantasy relevant next season is the chance of, by the time this podcast posts to the various podcast feeds on Player Profiler and Roster Watch, we get a tweet from Ian Rappaport saying that Ashton Doolin's been a cap casualty of the Indianapolis.
No, no, no. On Player Profiler, we even have Ashton Doolin's contract information. They're not. He is a special teams asset, and they're paying him nothing. Right? There's certainly like almost no money guaranteed this year. That's correct. You're right. There's almost no money guaranteed this year, but we're talking about a couple $1 million. Of course, they're going to keep him around just because of his value on special teams. And now that the cupboard is much more bare, it's also they have a quarterback problem as well in Indianapolis. So what do you think they're going to do at quarterback?
Well, they're going to until Daniel Jones gets back.
Yeah,
I don't know. Do you think there's a chance he'll be ready? I mean, they're paying him what? I like the fact that they made the deal a 2-year deal. It was a lot of sticker shock, like 2-year, $88 million. But man, I was talking to my buddy from church about this at our kids. He's from Indianapolis, and so this guy, he's had his soul kind of ripped out this year. Outside of like the one Indiana team that he doesn't root for is the Indiana Hoosiers, who beat his Miami Hurricanes this year because he went to law school in Miami. But he had the Pacers, who made it to the finals. In the final game of the finals, they lost their star player. He tore his Achilles. And then the Colts, all of a sudden, they're going ape, and they're looking to be like a favorite in the AFC. And Daniel Jones is Indiana Jones, and they trade for Sauce Gardner, and they're rolling, and then that all goes to smithereens. It's like, but it reminded me when I was talking to him, just how he was beaming with pride about how the season started, right? And how he couldn't believe everything went off the rails with how perfect things were lined up. So I was thinking, man, if there's a chance that Daniel Jones can be the impetus for something like that, I don't mind it on a 2-year deal, even with him coming off that injury. Right.
I think it's great. I think the injury cost him some money for sure, but we're talking about $60 million guaranteed with incentives up to $100 million for Daniel Jones. I mean, congrats to him, man. He persevered, and he's set up for life. He already was set up for life, but now he's really set. Now he has like generational wealth. We're talking about $60 million.
That's it, dude. That's enough to retire at our age. More than enough.
What you think?
Yeah, it's like no. I mean, like
what
retire.
Are you talking about?
No, that's enough to like retire and like not working. Like if I had $60 million,
$60 million. What do you do? We can't compare us to like a quarterback salary. What?
I might not work in like another day.
Of course you wouldn't. You'd find something to do, though. You would find something to do.
I think I would just, if I was just sitting around twiddling my thumbs, I would drive myself crazy. But, yeah, man. So good for Daniel Jones. I think that eventually, if we're having the dynasty discussion, I think it's going to be Daniel Jones that these guys are connected to. My question for you is, do you believe Stephen Holder's report that came out? Because he's pretty close to a lot of the sources there with the Colts. He's one of these reporters that's been there forever. And he was saying that the plan for him starting next season is to boost him to 8 to 10 targets a game. Does he seem like that kind of player to you? He's going to have to change his play style to some degree.
I mean, Alec Pierce is. There's just no way. Like how does this? Where are they getting this information? Like, what are they seeing? I don't have it. I don't have the information. On anywhere. I've looked, like we have a lot of metrics on PlayerProfiler.com the last few years on Alec Pierce. And I mean, why do they think this? They think he's like an alpha receiver. They really do. The guy played in 15 games last year with 84 targets. Like he's a field stretcher. He has huge air yard numbers. I understand that. But we're talking about 12.2 fantasy points per game on 1,593 air yards. This isn't he had close to a 50% catch rate. Daniel Jones, it's good that they signed him. He certainly stepped up last year, but it's not like Alec Pierce has a super accurate downfield quarterback to deliver the football to him. He was number 7 in explosive play rating on Player Profiler. He gives explosive plays on on a per target basis, he gives you explosive plays. But he's not commanding a significant target share. His target share was 18% last year. And
It's
this
not
is
enough.
not like there wasn't a Jamar Chase across the formation from him. There wasn't like a Drake London. That's not Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman's begging for someone. He's always been a fake alpha, begging for someone to take over the alpha dog position, right?
That's a fun take, I guess. he's that he's a fake alpha that wants to concede targets.
He does. He does. He's 6'4",
That's a
220,
wild take.
begging for someone else to take over as the featured guy. He operates best as an auxiliary weapon. The problem is now in Pittsburgh, they had the two of the fakest alphas that have ever existed. They have giant, huge dudes that don't really want to be featured.
So
They just want to look good, right?
You think
they want to look good. They want to take their shirts off and they want to look great, but they don't want to show up to the facility early. They certainly don't want to, put in what it takes to be available all the time. So, I mean, these guys are going to have hamstring problems. They have no quarterback. It's just going to be super underwhelming. See, the thing is, like, with Alec Pierce, yeah, he was number 2 in average target distance, or ADOT, 19.0 on PlayerProfiler.com. But his yards per route run was 2.18, which was outside the top 15. What does that mean? That means that he's not converting those deep. He's getting deep. And that's why, what were his unrealized air yards on PlayerProfiler.com? Can you guess what his unrealized air yards were?
I don't. That isn't a stat that I look at often, so I don't.
764 unrealized air yards, which was top 10. And he didn't get a quarterback upgrade. Everything I'm seeing suggests this guy is a top 10 high quality field stretcher in the NFL. Like, he is a sort of a discounted Deshaun Jackson. And that guy has value. That guy, if things break his way, can absolutely give you a 1,000-yard season.
You're
and
saying he's
5
like
to
a
6
rich
touchdowns. And that's exactly what he did last year. And that's the most you can expect. If you try to make that guy the featured weapon, he is going to disappoint you.
Yeah, like, so you think he's like a rich man's Rashid Shaheed. But Rashid Shaheed just only got paid like less than half the money that
Exactly.
That he did.
Seattle knows how to value players.
Well,
They
but
let Kenneth Walker go, but they signed Rashid Shaheed at half of Alec Pierce's value. This is the team that just won the Super Bowl. This is the front office that just put together a Super Bowl roster that was completely overwhelming. And being at the Super Bowl, I can tell you, you couldn't appreciate like you could being there how overwhelming every position group was on that field. And the general manager and the front office deserve the majority of the credit, not the coach, because they put that roster together. And
do you think
when I saw they signed Rashid Shaheed at value, I was like, "Yep, that's a great re-signing." I love re-signings. I like re-signings at value even better.
So let me ask you this: if you think that they're so wise and smart in Seattle, and I agree, I think Schneider's been good for a really long time, and I really respect him. He's been successful through different eras with that team, through different methodologies with scouting. He's adapted with the times. To me, it's interesting when you talk to Schneider. It's like he still seems just. He's like, now he's he's getting a little bit older, man, but he still seems, he has that air of him like he's a young GM that's still like always, kind of on the precipice of new ideas and on the forefront of things. You know what I mean? So like, I have a ton of respect for him. So with that being the case, what does it tell you that they didn't make any play to retain Ken Walker whenever Zach Charbonnet is coming off ACL? Does that worry you at all for what they sort of think? Do you think they worry they were just frustrated with his ability to stay healthy. I mean, maybe
No,
internally
I
that
think
was
they have a methodology that says we're not going to overpay for running back. I was shocked about that. Shocked. I was like, he is the Super Bowl MVP that he just locked. He checkmated them. By
yeah,
being the Super Bowl
yeah.
MVP, he forced them to sign him, and I was like, this is a forced overpay. I can't imagine a scenario where an NFL team has to face their fan base and say, yeah, the MVP just wasn't good enough to bring back. Sorry, guys. No, they appreciate that that's money they could spend elsewhere, and they could spend more efficiently with more upside at almost every other position, and they're going to do that. The question is, who's going to be the starting running back for Seattle week 1?
Well, I mean, right now it would have to be George Holani.
There
So
it
that's why
is.
I'm saying I think
There you go.
it's an incredible, it opens things up incredibly in the NFL draft. And so as we were talking about before we got off this, as far as the 103 and superflex dynasty.
Is that where we started this conversation?
Yeah.
With the 106. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I was like, I'm still not sure. I'm a 70-30 Carnell Tate over Lemon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's the answer that you came for. Hey, speaking of speaking a circuitous route to that answer. Speaking of that, Matt, some breaking news into the show here. Cody just texted me the video of Makai Lemon's 40 at USC Pro Day today.
Whoa, hold on.
So Makai Lemon competing at USC Pro Day right now. It looks like USC wide receiver Makai Lemon ran his 40-yard dash for NFL scouts this morning. Woo! Any guesses on the time range?
Yeah, I'm going to guess an exact time. 4:39.
You're going to be disappointed. It's in the 4.48 to 4.53 range, according to multiple scouts in attendance.
That's why he didn't run at the combine.
That's why he didn't run at the combine.
I just love 4.39. 4.39 is my favorite number for a 40. But yeah, if I was actually guessing, trying to be right, yeah,
I would have guessed
somewhere in the 4.4s, high 4.4s corrects into the low 4.5s on Player Profiler. So he and Carnell Tate now have the same 40, and that means the pick is it just went from 70-30 Tate to 100-0 Tate.
I think,
and I know the people are screaming at their radio or their radio, as if we're on the radio anymore. They're screaming at their phone or their computer saying, "What are you talking about? I thought you said athleticism doesn't matter." Well, when it's that close, when it's we're talking about fractions of a difference between players. If one guy is super athletic, then that is the tiebreaker. But if he's not, then you just go with who you had at number 1, and you don't overthink it. And so that's the thing. I have inoculated myself to overthinking, and I just go every time with the decision I made. Said, hey, I've got Tate number 1. Something has to really change in order to shift my thinking here. Nothing has changed. It would shift my thinking. And I'm going to say Tate. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to put it in a time capsule. And when the rookie draft happens, I'm going to take Tate. I'm not going to overthink it. Now, I might consider a trade. And anyone in this Coliseum league that I'm in,
good luck
might want to send me a trade for the 103. I'm very open to it. I mean, that's the thing. If you have the 103, what you really should be doing is hoping that these wide receivers test well at their pro days and that someone can get excited about somebody. KC Concepcion, somebody they want the 103 to move up to get a wide receiver, their preferred wide receiver, and then you're open for business. That's what you should be doing.
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, it's not gonna happen, but it's like, whenever you're doing the mock drafts and stuff for the NFL draft, you're like, well, obviously, what say Washington should do here is trade down. It's like, well, who wants to trade up to 7 in this draft? You know what I mean? Like people are acting like there's just going to be a giant appetite for it. It's like who's trading up for the 103? But if you can, especially
Well,
if
they
you can
want a wide
trade back to
receiver.
well, but yeah, especially if it's somebody who's like the 106 and he's just like I want Carnell Tate so much more than the rest of these guys, and you just trade back to 106 and you take whoever's left, between Carnell Tate, Makai Lemon, Jordan Tyson. You know what I mean? And then you're good. But that I don't think that's going to be the case for a whole lot of people. Let me ask you this: when Cody, I haven't watched the video of the Makai Lemon run, but this is just what Cody's texting on the thread with me and Maddie and saying that like it looks slow. Cody, Cody's like
The weird thing is, like, he was huge on special teams though.
Yeah. So
that's the thing. Like that's what I love about Makai Lemon is special teams. Our Breakout Finder app. We're about to launch the release the 2026 Breakout ratings, and our modeling has found that special teams matters for wide receivers.
Huh.
Interesting. Oh yeah, look at Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp was the standard. Cooper Kupp like set special teams production records.
Puka. As far as special, like Puka was on special teams as like stuff like punt gunner and all this stuff like that.
These are just good football players. They understand how to get leverage on the football field. That's what they understand, angles and leverage. That's what you learn, and that's what a guy like DK Metcalf, right? DK Metcalf, Michael Pittman. Did they ever play on special teams?
Michael Pittman just looked up at the Pittsburgh Steelers and he just sees that the big Adonis of DK Metcalf, and in Matt's mind he just thought to himself, he's like, oh, they got a nice cuck chair up there in Pittsburgh for me to sit in. Right?
Yeah, it's perfect. And then but Metcalf's like, oh, thank God they have someone that can take the pressure off me.
Yeah.
And then Pittman's thinking, oh man, I can't wait to go there, and then he'll take the pressure off me, and then he's going, you're going to take the pressure off me. Oh no, you're going to take the pressure off me. No, you're going to take the pressure off me. No, you're going to take the pressure off me. No, you're going to take the pressure off me. You're going to take the pressure off me. But hey, when everyone's working out and it's weightlifting time in the off season, they are going to show up for half an hour and flex in the mirror.
Yeah,
they will do that, and they might do some buys. Right, they'll do some biceps. I don't have
quite the same takes on these guys. Hey, whenever they're
going to do bicep, they're going to do the bench press. They're going to get in the mirror. They'll take their shirts off. They'll have some pictures taken together, and then they're going to go home and eat Skittles.
Okay, so the range for Makai Lemon is a reported 4.48 to 4.53. What that means to me is that he ran a 4.53 hand time.
No, he ran like a 4.51, which is probably going to correct to like a 4.56.
So you're going to split the difference and say he's a 4.56-ish kind of guy.
But that's Cooper Kupp, though. That's Cooper Kupp. I mean, Makai Lemon had like a 73% catch rate in college. Huge special teams production. This is a major conference school. Comes out early. I'm not saying I'm like, this is a slam dunk Carnell Tate. If Makai Lemon showed like measurably better athleticism than Carnell Tate, that would have put him over the top. But now, Carnell Tate's
he's a very clean prospect. He's also
clean.
very, very
he's just smart. The cleanest at wide receiver. I am not trying to hit home runs in the first round. I just want to bank the chalk pick where I know I'm going to get 1,000-yard seasons.
Doubles, man. I
just want a double. I'm not trying to swing from my heels at wide receiver. In fact, I never swing from the heels at wide receiver. I'm swinging from the heels at running back.
Yeah.
I want to take a small number of receivers that have low risk profiles. That is the nucleus that I'm building on my dynasty teams, and that's why I can't move DK Metcalf fast enough in this Coliseum league that we're in. Well, you should be in it too. I'd love if you were in it. I'm going to get as many people in this league as possible.
Well, if you're looking to start, if you're looking to get more dynasty leagues, why don't you start like a Podfather Invitational? Just invite all the dudes who come on the show.
That's a great idea.
You know what I mean? That would be good content. You'd be like, oh my God, like Alex's team is like.
And we have these patron leagues too. I've had a co-manager in these patron leagues, but I'm going to start being more active in the patron leagues. Patreon.com. be in a league with the Podfather. So I'm gonna take a more active role in those. I am so excited, and it's counterintuitive. I understand. Like, this is a weak class. Of all the times in the history of the universe, I would be so over the moon excited to play Dynasty. March 12th, 2026, as Makai Lemon runs a 4.76.
Come on, dude.
Is not the time that you would think that I'm like, my affinity for Dynasty is peaking, but it is. I'm so invigorated and excited. So anyway, Carnell Tate's going to be a member of the Podfathers fantasy team unless someone from this Coliseum League comes in and makes me an offer I can't refuse.
Which probably won't have to be too much. Right. This is true.
Dude, the best part of this is we had this huge show sheet, right? The Podfather show sheets. Yeah. And we're like 40 minutes into the show, and the first question is, what do you do with the 103 in superflex? And we haven't moved from that question. For 40 minutes, we've been spinning around in this question. Again, tangents here. Certainly, we pulled up Ashton Doolin's profile and contract, and we talked about why I like Ashton Doolin. I like Pacheco.
How Ashton Doolin gets inserted into the 103 conversation in 2026 Dynasty leagues.
Yeah, that's a tricky thing. So now I can just tell you, in terms of the rookie running backs, the one running back that I think, if you don't know any information on this player, I think you want him, and that's Jadarian Price. Because he was competing for touches with Jeremiah Love, you need to put a little bit of a premium on him. Because if he was at any other school, he would have been much more productive, and you'd be paying for that production. So it's sort of the Miles Sanders corollary, where Miles Sanders really couldn't produce until Saquon Barkley left. And then once he left, boom, 1,000-yard season in college. Right, you see that. But he was, for 2 years, Miles Sanders was, not involved at all. And then what happens?
Less involved than Jadarian Price.
Yeah, exactly. And then what happens? He becomes a second-round pick.
Yeah.
Right, and was he a Pro Bowler? No, but he sustained dynasty value. Seriously, that's the thing with running back, man. Unless I'm getting a player like a Tate or a Lemon, where they were productive at a major conference school, had special teams production, or were just the undisputed alpha, whatever it is, clean prospect, super clean. Unless you're super, super, super clean wide receiver prospect, I want to go running back in rookie drafts, just because not only do they have huge upside, even deep, like they can pop out of nowhere, like, oh, come on, Vidal. Pop and flip these guys. But the guys that are first and second round picks, they almost always retain value.
Yeah.
There were years where you could get significant picks in return for a Miles Sanders, even after he left and went elsewhere. There was a hive. And so these guys are going to have a hive. Jadarian Price is going to have a hive. And Mike Washington already has a hive. I mean, you go to Player Profiler, he is one of the trending players, the last couple weeks, always. We have him comped to Isaac Garendo. What do you think of that comp?
So that's where Maddie gets this from, this whole Isaac Garendo take of his.
What's wrong with that take?
It's nice. It's not very good. Stylistically, those players aren't very much alike.
Do you know who we have comped to Jadarian Price?
So Jadarian Price what do you weigh in at? 202? Devontae Freeman, maybe? Oh, okay. Miles Sanders, huh?
Dude, what do you think? Do you think I just pulled this stuff out? My talking points come from one place. Player
Look at that.
profiler. Let's pull up Mike Washington, shall we?
Yeah.
Mike Washington Jr. And there he is, Isaac Gadendo. Number 1 RB in the class so far in athleticism. No surprise.
Yeah.
Why is Isaac Gadendo a comp? Let's look at the college stats. 4 years of pretty underwhelming production.
Well, but you got to remember though, at New Mexico State, he shared a backfield. Was that Seth McGowan he shared a backfield with, or Russell, Russell Fison? I forget which. I get those two mixed up because they're both the guys who are 25.
At New Mexico State, it was Seth McGowan.
Seth McGowan. Okay.
So Seth McGowan had 813 yards in 2024 at New Mexico State. Mike Washington, that same year, had 725 yards. So, in 12 games. Seth McGowan was the preferred option there. Why?
Well, I think, it's a little bit of a difference in running style. We know that Seth McGowan can also catch. Mike Washington showed this year that he can catch, though. He was the 34th most targeted running back in college football during the 2025 season. Like, he's a natural receiver of the football. I mean, he's got 34 plus inch arms.
Who, McGowan or Mike Washington?
Washington. I think he had I think it was the untapped receiving potential that, I don't know, man. Ever since I saw Arkansas versus Texas, and I looked at it and I said, I was watching Mike Washington and I said, man, Texas needs a guy like that. Texas needs a player like that. That's a guy who's changing the game offensively for this team. Just a bruising inside boulder of a runner that has really good lateral agility, great quicks. The way that he get just the way that he negotiates tight spaces, right? To be able to create unblocked yards for himself. That wasn't I know that the Arkansas offensive line improved throughout the course of the year, but
you know what I liked about Mike Washington is while other players have their agent negotiate those tight spaces, he did it himself.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what you think about.
We need a dad joke alert,
runner, right?
We need to have a dad joke sounder.
Just the ability. You think about guys like you think about these guys that you look at and you're like, man, these guys are really good professional inside runners. Who's the poster boy for that in recent years has been like the Nick Chubbs of the world, right? That's what they do is they can find leverage in these tight spaces as inside runners. But I think he brings a big value out as a receiver. He was clearly the best running back at the Senior Bowl. I had no idea he was going to run low 4.3s at his weight. I just didn't know it. I thought he was going to run fast. I did not know he was going to run that fast. I mean, is that the best size adjusted speed guy that in your database?
Yes, he's number one. He's number one.
No, I don't mean just in the class. I mean like ever.
All time. Can you guess where he ranks all time in terms of running back athleticism? Size adjusted.
And is it just 40, or does it take anything else?
No, it's everything.
Oh, I don't know. Just because of all the inputs that would have gone into the test that the test that others did that he didn't do.
Can you fucking guess, please? I asked you to guess a number.
Can you tell me out of how many?
A random number. 11, 19, 4.
Out of about how many?
787.
Oh, okay. 12.
He's 7th.
Huh.
He's 7th all time.
It's unbelievable.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. I mean, I don't see how you can compare him to Isaac Guerendo. I mean, I know Isaac Guerendo, like another guy that's big and fast, but he was straight line fast. He bounced everything outside. He was hurt every single season at Wisconsin till his final was he at Wisconsin for 5 years? He was at Wisconsin, right? Am I getting him mixed with someone else? Isaac Guerrero.
Louisville.
Oh, but he was at Wisconsin beforehand, right? I'm trying to think here.
First 3 seasons, he was at Wisconsin.
Okay.
And did almost nothing.
Yeah.
Then he put up 810 yards with a high yards per carry and 22 catches at Louisville. This is why he's comparable to Mike Washington.
Hurt every single season almost. I don't know how many games he even played through his first 3 years of college.
Who is your comp?
Clinton Portis.
Clinton Portis.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have Mike Washington ahead of Jadarian Price.
I'm waffling back and forth about it the same way that I was waffling back and forth about Carnell Tate and Makai Lemon. And I'm still I guess it's probably not fair for me to say that because I do have the information about Jadarian Price that I didn't have about Makai Lemon, which was the fact that he actually ran a 40, right?
Ran a 4.49 at the combine.
Here's the thing: my gut would tell me to take Mike Washington, but if I had to do it and I was in the GM chair and I had to make the best decision for the organization, I think I would take Jadarian Price.
Yeah, Jadarian Price, because he would have been much more productive had he had that backfield to himself.
And he's another guy that's just one of these just inside runners where it's like it's the craziest thing. It's almost like, and I know they have a great offensive line, and I get it, right? I totally get it. But it was like you could just count on him to just fall forward to get you 6 yards. You know what I mean? It's like you look up and you're like, there's Jadarian again. He just broke off another 11-yard run. There he is for another 8-yard run. Over and over. That kind of stuff, man, that'll peck away at you. And I know he has the benefit of kind of getting to go in there when the thing's been turned into Swiss cheese by Jeremiah Love, right? And the defense has been, stressed horizontally against the outside zone run game, and he comes in and pounds them. I get that, but you got to trust the tape and you got to trust your eyes. And I think that when I think about Mike Washington, even though I really love him, I think about what you said earlier about, swinging from your heels as opposed to just kind of trying to rack up those consistent doubles. And Mike Washington feels like a little bit more of a swinging from your heels kind of guy to me.
I like to do that, just not in the first round of a rookie draft.
Exactly. Yeah, but you're going to have to make a decision between Jadarian Price and Mike Washington in the first round of your rookie draft, even superflex.
Yeah, at some point later in the first round.
Yeah.
My question is there any quarterback other than Mendoza that you would want before you would pick someone like Mike Washington or Jadarian Price?
What is the best case scenario, do you think, for Ty Simpson? What is the best landing spot? It feels like a lot of these teams have kind of addressed what they're going to be doing at the quarterback position. Is there anybody out there that's still out in Siberia as far as quarterbacks? I mean, and we can just project Kyler to Minnesota, and we can project, they've been talking about, Cousins, he's looking like he might be going to Las Vegas to be there with Mendoza. And so I'm just trying to think of the dudes who are, we know that Tua's in Atlanta. We know that Geno's with the Jets now.
Mm-hmm. Pittsburgh
is still in somewhat of Siberia, but you want
Arizona.
I think that they feel like they got it figured out with Brissett and Gardner Minshew.
Really?
I think that they do. I think they maybe they just need a tank, man. I don't know. I love
they can't tank. Their offense is too good now.
Michael Wilson just going bananas. This whole thing with Jacoby Brissett is just a giant boon for Michael Wilson and Trey McBride, man. Poor Marvin Harrison over there. Talk about that Michael Pittman cuck chair.
He's been fully cucked out.
Yeah.
And by the way, Michael Wilson, just a fantastic human. Absolute.
I think I remember him being cool, man. I think I remember him being
fantastic human. I follow him on Instagram. He's like the one athlete I follow on Instagram. He's got his kids. He is incredibly handsome, smells great, just a just a great guy, just an absolute great guy. And somehow my daughter found out about him. My daughter was like, "Hey, this who is this Michael Wilson? He seems like a great guy." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I don't know." She's like, "I thought you only followed Patriots," because she's a big Patriots fan. And she's like, "I don't know how I ended up following Michael Wilson." I was like, "I'm going to follow him too." Sure enough, I'm like, "Yeah, this guy, what a great family man." Yeah, and then but she had no idea. Like, she had no idea that, like, the whole backstory with Marvin Harrison Jr.
Well,
She just looked at him and then she saw the highlights and she was like, "Oh, this guy's like one of the best receivers in the league." And I was like, "But what about Marvin Harrison?" And she's like, "Who?" That's the thing, man. Unless you're in it like us, if you're just a casual NFL fan and you're not following college and the draft and all these things, all these narratives, you don't even care about Marvin Harrison Jr. You could care less. You couldn't care.
Yeah.
She couldn't care less about Marvin Harrison Jr. And the idea that Marvin Harrison Jr. would somehow still retain alpha status in Arizona, to the casual it's silliness.
Do you think it's wild that Marvin Harrison Jr. in best ball is still going so far ahead of Michael Wilson?
I think it's a complete joke and an incredible arbitrage opportunity is what I think. I think that because, guys, how many years was DK Metcalf overrated, especially in best ball?
I don't remember his exact ADPs over the years, but it does seem like he was certainly he never got into like first round consideration, but I think he was always a guy you'd take in the maybe third round at his peak, maybe.
What if DK Metcalf's name was DK Rice Jr.?
Oh gosh.
Right?
Well, it would have to be like J.K. Rice Jr. or something like that, right?
Like, just kidding.
No, maybe
No, you're right. Yeah, it would have to be. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So if he was J.K. Rice Jr., thank you for the correction.
Yeah.
If he was J.K. Rice Jr., like J.K. Rowling's or J.K. Simmons, we have a long list of famous J.K.'s. If he were J.K. Rice Jr., can you imagine how much more people would have been salivating around him? I can tell you one thing: he would have been a first-round pick. He wouldn't have been a second-round pick.
No, absolutely.
There's alone, he would have gone from late second to early first.
No question.
No question. But that doesn't change who he is. In fact, he plays and has had the career of someone who felt entitled to an NFL career from their family name. Like, the guy woke up in the morning and was like, "Look at me. I'm an NFL player and I'm going to have 1,000 yards and I'm a star." You're like, "Well, no, you actually have to do a whole lot of things.
I think every day
to get there. You're not just anointed, even if you have the greatest body in the history of the position." But sure enough, he's like, no, I can put minimal effort in here, and I just need one team. I just need to fool one team, right? And he fooled Seattle, and then he's like, "I can fool him again," and then he fooled Pittsburgh.
I'll tell you this: I don't think you could grow up in the same household as Jerry Rice and be a wide receiver and not be somebody that pays attention to the small details and somebody that is not excellent with your routes. Do you know?
I heard that. I heard that about someone. Who did I hear that about? Who actually? Oh yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. I heard that.
Yeah,
about.
But with Jerry Rice, he was just different. Jerry Rice was the first one. Like, his coaches used to actually get on him at practice for wasting time at practice, because every time he caught the football, he would go, like, and a bunch of guys still do this to this day, but you catch the football and just on a regular drill, and he would run down to the end zone and go score every single time. And it was such a deal where, like, dude, Jerry's out here, he's messing up the flow of practice with this one. He would just do it. He just, like, every time he touched the football, he just wanted to score. Like, that guy was wired different. You figure if he had a kid, he'd probably, I don't know.
So Brissett is an incredible value in all formats. I want Brissett, right? Brissett's awesome. Also for Dynasty, like, everyone thinks Brissett is a rental. There's a non-zero chance that he just keeps playing well, how many chances is Geno Smith getting? Right? In Superflex, if you were the first to jump on Geno Smith when he was resuscitating his career, you've banked incredible value. Same with Sam Darnold. Same with Baker Mayfield. Taking these guys off the scrap heap.
Daniel Jones. This guy was
This
a
is the
monster
move, man.
last season.
This is the move. That's why in this Coliseum League, I'm so happy. I have Patrick Mahomes and then a void at second quarterback, and now I can just go fill that void with guys like Jacoby Brissett. That's the goal.
It's great to hear the recent reporting coming out that they feel like Patrick Mahomes is going to be very, very, very close by week 1. He might be able to. They say pretty close to it. They're acting like he's going to play, and then he's not going to be. He's going to be like 80% of himself or something like that, but good enough to play. Were you not surprised to hear that? I was kind of thinking.
No. A, I'm not surprised to hear it, and B, I think it's a lie.
Okay, that's fair.
True.
Okay. You're right. I should have had this.
What are we talking
about?
about?
Oh, wait, that's a lie.
Wait, how many years have you been doing this?
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right.
Yes, I heard it. No, I didn't believe it. I mean, there should be something. There just needs to be like a Pinocchio. There is like a Pinocchio emoji,
Yeah.
Just how many Pinocchios do some of these things get? Patrick Mahomes ready for week 1. That's 5 Pinocchios.
Yeah, probably
not happening, right? So, basically now my daughter is also following Romeo Dobbs on Instagram.
Is he quite as handsome and specially human as Michael Wilson?
I don't think she's as impressed. She's less impressed with Romeo Dobbs. And then she was like, she was just like Googling and going to PlayerProfiler. And she's like, everything I'm seeing, he's like he seems very average, Dad.
Oh, God.
I was like, let me tell you about Romeo Dobbs. Okay. This is beyond heartbreaking. And you know what makes it even more heartbreaking? That Juwan Jennings is still available. I was like, so let me get this straight. The 49ers signed Mike Evans, of all players, who is the player in free agency that could subvert Juwan Jennings. So he's the number one candidate to subvert Juwan Jennings. They signed that exact guy. Okay, so now Juwan Jennings is very, very much on the market. Okay, if he wasn't on the market as much before, if you thought, oh, he's wired to go back to San Francisco, no, not anymore. Okay, so this is the position, the big-bodied clasher X position is what the Patriots so desperately needed, and they could have just waited a couple more days and got an incredible value, maybe even a prove-it deal for Juwan Jennings. Instead, they spend $80 million, of which a fraction of that is guaranteed. I understand. But just face value contract on Romeo Dobbs. And there isn't a single signal that you can point to that says this guy can step up and help your team win games. Have you ever seen anything from Romeo Dobbs that suggests that he can be more than he was in Green Bay?
I will say that I think he's the NFL's best wide receiver that wears a Guardian helmet. Do you think? I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head. I think he's probably best. Cody and I were having the conversation about the best player in the NFL that wears a Guardian. I think that's Jalen Petre from the Texans.
By the way, I love hanging out with you guys because these are the conversations.
But I think Romeo Dobbs is probably the best in that category.
Has he ever hit 750 receiving yards? No.
I thought he had like 780 last year. Did he not? What did he have last year?
724.
He only got in 15 or 16 games last year.
He played in 16 games and he totaled 85 targets. He consistently, week in, week out, year in, year out, delivers the exact average that you would expect. We're talking about exactly 1,000 air yards. We're talking about exactly 10.25 fantasy points per game.
Always just under like 2 in yards per route run. I guarantee you his yards per route run last year was a 1.81. Like just right off the shelf, average cookie cutter statistical profile.
When you talk about VORP, value over replacement, the average guy, if you are, as a benchmark, if you want to value yourself, just look at Romeo Doubs, pull up his stats, and say, these are the areas where I'm above Romeo Doubs, where I'm better than Romeo Doubs. That difference between you and Romeo Doubs, that's the best way to calculate your value to an NFL team if you're curious as a player.
So, well, that's always that's a good DIY tip for figuring out your value on the open market if you are one of these NFL wide receivers.
I mean, at one point, we talked about this. He has taken over for a couple years there. It was Josh Palmer, right? Josh Palmer was Romeo Doubs for a couple years.
Oh, yeah, right. The VORP guy.
Yep. He was the guy that was the benchmark, the most average down the middle wide receiver. He is going to run a nice route sometimes. He is going to squeeze the football in traffic sometimes. And there are going to be moments in games where he looks like he has some juice and he can make some plays. But then for large swaths of the game, he will go untargeted, and then he will drop a pass in a heartbreaking fashion and remind everyone why he is exactly average. And this is what I explained. This is what you're going to get from Romeo Doubs. He is going to be maddening, and you're going to see him make some plays and make a difference in certain moments. But then when you add it all up at the end of the season, it's like, wait, he didn't really do anything.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, I'll say, is that people will say that there's what?
It's just, as a Patriots fan, it's heartbreaking.
Well, I mean, what I think what Patriots fans are telling themselves is like, well, this guy faced a ton of target competition in Green Bay. Like there were wide receivers. Well, that's the other thing. It's like you can list off Christian Watson, you can list off Jaden Reed, you can list off Dontavian Wicks, you can list. But then the thing is, there you got to remember is there. All of those guys are always hurt too,
and they were hurt. I mean?
All those guys have been hurt. Like it's like it hasn't been like all those guys have been healthy the whole time. I don't know. It's hard to think of a time whenever all four of those guys were all healthy and on the field together at the same time. To be honest. So
it was incredibly frustrating. It was because you have Drake May, you have this nucleus, and you just need to be very, very careful about how you spend your money in these couple years where you have Drake May at value before he has to sign the huge extension. We have it's like a 2-year window, and you need to be super strategic about who you bring in. These guys have to be difference makers. Why are you cutting Diggs to bring in Doubs and pay him more money? You're going in the opposite direction.
And look at the state of the roster right now as far as who they have on the projected 53. It's Kayshon Boutte, it's Romeo Doubs. Is Mac Hollins a free agent? I forgot if he is or not. I think
they already have Kayshon Boutte. Kayshon Boutte is essentially Romeo Doubs. You don't
Kyle Williams.
I would rather have Boutte than Doubs, but
they have 6 guys on contracts that aren't on like futures deals for practice squad stuff.
That depth chart was by far and away the best fit for Juwan Jennings, and he's there and available. And so to be teased by Juwan Jennings only for your favorite team to subvert that and go ahead and sign Romeo Doubs for more money than he deserves. It was a gut punch where I kind of lost my breath for a minute. Like I was like, I had to kind of like control my diaphragm. You know, I had to like flex my ab muscles to control
Yeah.
my diaphragm when I heard the news, because I was like, well, this is worst case scenario. You couldn't make in fiction, you couldn't make up a worse signing on the heels of letting Diggs go on a team that's trying to compete for a Super Bowl against the Bills, who just got DJ Moore.
You would have loved DJ Moore. Would you have loved that?
DJ Moore, Jawan Jennings, either
Yeah.
one would have been a huge, I mean, unbelievable. Or Michael Pittman.
You'd have
There's
taken that.
I mean, as it turns out, there were plenty of options. I'm not making huge demands. I'm not saying we need to have like some superstar, right? Trade for T. Higgins or something crazy, right? I'm not saying that, right? I'm just saying, give me a big-bodied alpha that we can trust, Jawan Jennings, or Michael Pittman, right? I'm not saying someone needs to be a proper alpha. I'm not even saying that. I'm just looking for a good beta. Romeo Doubs isn't even a beta. He's an omega.
Well, maybe in the it's a relatively deep draft, I think, for the day 2 wide receivers.
Oh
so
my
maybe
God, you listen to
can,
yourself.
maybe,
Yes, I'm
maybe
trying. This is how I rationalize it. You're right. Thank you. Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Just go get their next Jalen Polk and Javon Baker, and you can and you guys will be set.
Well, this was the whole thing, dude. This was the whole thesis. Was like, hey, the Patriots, like the Bills, have to come to Jesus and realize they don't know how to draft receivers. Patriots and Bills are the worst at drafting receivers. They're incompetent. They can't do it. I mean, look at the list. Hey, Keon Coleman, hold my beer, Jalen Polk. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's that bad. And so just go. I mean, there's zero risk in signing Jawan Jennings. You're getting exactly what you want. Great locker room guy, possession receiver, red zone weapon, one of the best blockers in the league.
Culture fit with Vrabel.
Unbelievable culture fit with Vrabel. I mean, him and Mac Hollins together would be the best run blocking wide receiver duo. What you could do is you could bunch Jennings and Hollins. They would be able to out physical. I mean, if you just had those guys doing rub routes, I mean, you wouldn't be able to cover either one of them. You could basically run one off the other and then throw a fade to one of them on the right side, and then you can just go ahead and run to the right side constantly. Yeah. So I would just bunch those two on the right, and you can just put like Kyle Williams on the left and have him run deep, stretch the field. And then I would, anyway, these were the daydreams that I was having, and now it's all gone because now it's Dobbs, and you can't do anything with him.
Well, we'll see, man. I've been kind of, going through and trying to figure out where these guys are going on the best ball cheat sheet at Roster Watch. And like with Dobbs, I kind of have him. Where do I have him? I think he's about where's he going on Fast Draft? I moved into wide receiver 54. That's probably a little bit too low.
I don't think he's getting drafted.
He's just not getting drafted.
Not in the Rabbit.
Oh, because that thing you only got to rank like 150 players.
Yeah, he's not going.
Yeah, so
useless. Just Dobbs, useless. Thank you for your time today, Alex. One more thing before we go. I wanted to let you know that I set up a Kalshi account. I finally did. You do it yet?
No, I still haven't set one up on. I haven't set one up on Kalshi yet. I probably should. It's legal here in Texas. I use Kalshi and Polymarket all the time, but I need to get more familiar with how it. To be honest, man, I'm a little bit hesitant with the prediction markets because before I jump in and start doing it, I just want to make sure that there aren't any like micro edges that all these AI bots and stuff are going to have against me. You know what I mean? I don't want to go in and just be a total fish. And I understand that there are ways that I can avoid that, but it's something that I've been sort of looking into and researching more because obviously we're going to have to start talking about prediction markets in our content. I think that more and more people are starting to use them. But I want to make sure before I'm not going to go out and talk about something that I don't know about though. So I'm making sure to keep a good eye on everything. I'm always looking on Polymarket and Kalshi, even predicted at times, just to kind of see what the ecosystem's like, to see what the market says about certain predictions and things like that. I use it all the time for those things. But as far as learning about the actual functionality of it in ways where you can avoid getting swindled on these platforms, whenever you know that there's so many people building out these Claude bots and making these little micro trades and stuff like that. I mean, those programs are built to chip away slowly at you. So until I know that there's a way that I can find a way to not let other people, not become other people's edge, I'm not gonna put my own money into it.
I have not yet figured out a way to demonstrate edge on sports betting on Kalshi. When I do, I will let the audience know.
Yeah.
I set it up specifically for the Oscars because there has been a movie renaissance. Movies were in a dark place. Cinema was trending down. And now, in the last couple of years, the industry's a mess, but the movies themselves have been high quality. I don't know if you've noticed, but like the overall quality of the movies that are coming out is pretty amazing. If you've seen movies like One Battle After Another or Sinners, incredible. I just saw this foreign film called The Secret Agent, and so there's a guy that I watch on YouTube. His name's Brian, and he's called the Awards Contender, and he sort of talks about movies and who he thinks is going to win and who he thinks is the better and all these things. So all I decided to do is I'm gonna take some of Brian's picks. Brian basically likes this movie Sinners. He thinks this movie Sinners is going to outperform what people think in the Oscars, and I decided just to use best ball principles, stacking, and I just went ahead and I Michael B. Jordan, Delroy Lindo, supporting actor. Delroy Lindo was not nominated in these other ceremonies, so there's like his percent payout on Kalshi is partly suppressed by the fact that he didn't show up in any of the other ceremonies. As soon as you win an award at another ceremony, like Michael B. Jordan, you look at his payout crumbled after he won at the SAG or the Actors Awards.
Sure. Yep.
Right. So as soon as he wins that, all of a sudden all your payout is gone. Right. But it's still fine. Like it's still very reasonable because that particular category remains well up in the air because of Timothée Chalamet. But the problem is everyone hates Timothée Chalamet. If you ask anyone, do you like Timothée Chalamet? Most people say no. They find him annoying. Everybody loves Michael B. Jordan. Right. So even though the odds have shifted dramatically toward Jordan and the action has shifted toward Jordan, I still think there's value there. Then you've got these supporting actor candidates, Wunmi Masaku and Delroy Lindo, who are like the third and fourth favorites in their categories. And all you need is one take. If your one take is Sinners will outperform, and it did it. The Screen Actors Guild Awards, or it's called the Actors Awards now, it outperformed there. It's got a great narrative around that movie. It was a great movie. In that movie, by the way, Michael Jordan plays twins. Spoiler alert. And so he plays the two different guys on screen together a lot. So it's super cool how they even put that together and how they executed that movie. And the speeches that many of these people from Sinners have been giving have been inspirational, and there seems to be sort of a lack of appreciation in the betting markets for how big Sinners could go. I mean, this is a movie that set the record. Now there's more categories, so it's not a complete sort of apples to apples comparison, but the record for total nominations was set this year by this movie Sinners. So if you, it's that simple. It's sort of like my Jadarian Price take. It's like, regardless of his stats, because he didn't have the luxury of a starting role, like he's gonna be suppressed. The market cannot possibly value him correctly. Therefore, he's probably a value. If this movie is setting the record for nominations, then there's just a lot of affinity for this movie, period. And you have this other movie, One Battle After Another, where there's multiple nominations from the same movie, like in supporting actor, and they're going to split. There's going to be some vote splitting when that happens. And especially with a guy like Delroy Lindo, who wasn't nominated anywhere else, there's nothing to compare him against. You don't know how he would perform against Sean Penn because he's never been on a ballot against Sean Penn. So that's the rationale for taking him. So I'm stacking Sinners on Kalshi. And so I'll be watching the Oscars Sunday night. You all can watch it with me. Maybe I'll do some streaming. Who knows? We'll see what happens. I'll post it on Patreon, my favorite picks. I'll post my picks on Patreon for you guys. Patreon.com/podfather. And yeah, that's my take. Is I just think Sinners outperforms for some very obvious reasons. And what ends up happening is, especially these like underdog supporting actor candidates, they get towed along and creates positive EV. That's
well,
I've never had a cinema take in my life. I've never bet on the Oscars or anything cinema related in my life. This is my first time. I'm sharing it with you. I'm sharing it with the audience, and we're going to see what happens.
Well, it'll certainly give you some action to help you get through the Oscars and in between all the interesting speeches that you'll be hearing, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, they're going to be really interesting. Yeah, sure. Someone wanted to have a meeting like Sunday evening, and I was like, "Hey, can we meet at 8:30 on Sunday?" Normally, I'm like, I meet in the evenings with people all the time, and I'm like, "Oh no. Oh, maybe next Sunday." But I have blocked out. I'm going to be on my couch in front of the television watching the Oscars because I've got a big stake. There's a lot of stake in this. By the way, Cody was in the chat reminding us that Brendan Rice went in the 7th round.
No, that's true. So but if his name would have been Jerry Jr., that would have made all the difference.
Well, no, the point is, if he went to Ole Miss and he looked like DK Metcalf, he would not have gone in the 7th round.
Yeah, that's
Brendan
true.
Rice got drafted. It's like, this is one of those things where that's not an argument against what we're saying. It's actually an argument for it, where you have a fringy guy that has no business in the draft getting drafted. That's the evidence, right? It's like he would have been a UDFA in any other situation, but he got drafted.
Or like Frank Gore Jr., right? Emmett Smith's got a kid at A&M right now, EJ, right? Like,
this is what we're talking about. That's not a counter take. That is actually supporting evidence, Cody.
Thank you for your supporting evidence in the chat, Cody.
And thank you to the audience for tuning in. We had a great time. On behalf of Alex Dunlap and Roster Watch, I'm the Podfather from Player Profiler, and I've never gone out like this. I can't do it. I just tried to do one of those, like,
signing off like the old school.
We're signing off. We're thanking the producers. We're having a very nice, polite sign off instead of like going out on a hot take. How about this? If Delroy Lindo wins supporting actor, I am going to streak through the quad.